Our God, our God will not keep silent over us. Do favor to that person beside you and say, God will not keep silent over your situation. Tell that person and say, it doesn't matter what you are going through. God will act in your life. Amen. The people of Israel, in the first reading today, needed these words to console them, to comfort them. Probably you too might have been going through, or you might have gone through what they went through in a foreign land, in the land of Babylon. So they needed comfort and consolation. Their lives were destroyed. All what they built as a people were destroyed. They were subjected to slavery, to suffering. Things were not going on well for them. Probably we too, as human beings, we might have been passing through similar experience. Not the same experience, but different experiences that we may be going through as a people. So God, through Isaiah, came to them. As God is speaking to us this morning, for Zion's sake, I will not keep silent. And for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest until her vindication goes forth as brightness. The summary of today's readings is that God is in a relationship with us. Marriage, you heard the word marriage. I will marry you. God is saying in the first reading, I will marry you as a young man marries a virgin. And in the gospel, it's also about marriage. It's all about a relationship between God and humanity. Marriage is a union of two people. So what God is saying today is that I have entered into a covenant, unbreakable covenant between you and me. And because of that, he says, I will not keep silent. I will not sit down and watch you go through all that you are going through now in your life, in your marriage, in your business, in your working place, in your community, in your health also. I will not keep silent. I will not be aloof. I will not be indifferent to you. I will do something about your life. And that is being fulfilled in today's gospel. John chapter 2 is a common gospel that we all know. During wedding, we have heard it so many times. The fulfillment of that promise of Isaiah came in today's gospel. There was a wedding at Cana. Jesus was there. The high priest, the mother of Jesus, was there. Mary, the mother of the church, and the disciples of Jesus were also there. So this tells us that the gospel is about the new Israel, the new people of God. It's about you and I. Isaiah spoke about the old Israel coming back from Babylon that will be restored. But the gospel talks about the new Israel, the new people of God. And he said, Jesus was there. Jesus is always in our lives. Jesus is always in our situations. Is forever with us. I will be with you all the time. So God was there. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, the mother of the church, she was there as well. And Mary represents the church that speaks. The church that speaks. And what happened? She saw that there was no wine. And she went to Jesus and said, they have no wine. Wine is a symbol of joy. Is a symbol of gladness, fulfillment, happiness. You can imagine in a wedding where so many guests are there, and then all of a sudden, there was no wine. The celebration or the feast will close. People will grumble. People will not know what to do. To tell you the kind of situation that the gospel is presenting to us. A shameful situation, an ugly situation. This was the situation that this couple found themselves. But Mary said, they have no wine. And Jesus said, what is this to you and to me? Of course, in biblical exegesis, we're going to take this to John chapter 19 after. But that is not our concern today. When Jesus on the cross will call Mary again, woman, behold your son. John was the beloved that represents the Christian community also, the church. So Jesus ordered them to bring the 6 jars that represent emptiness. Don't forget, the 6 gallons or the 6 jars for Jewish ritual they were empty. There was no water in them. It represents dryness, emptiness. It represents problem, challenge. Number 6 is incomplete, is imperfect. Your life might have been imperfect, incomplete. You might have been worrying yourself, thinking how to go about that problem, that challenge in your life. Mary is showing us the way today. Go to Jesus and do whatever he tells you. She went to Jesus and came to them and said, do whatever he tells you. And Jesus said, fill the jars with water. Water was not wine. Water was not what was needed in that feast. But water was what the couple could afford. Water was what they had in their lives. My dear friends, it doesn't matter what you have. What you have in the eyes of man may be insignificant, may be irrelevant. But God is capable of turning it into greatness. Bring whatever you have. Come with your life. Come with yourself. Do not pretend. Do not live a life of other people. Be yourself. That is what Jesus told them. Fill the water. That is what you have. Come as you are. And they obeyed. And they came and they filled the water. And he said to them, draw it. He has turned their sorrow into joy. He had already turned their incompleteness, imperfection, into completeness and into perfection. That is what Jesus has come to do in our own lives too. We are into a marriage with God. Wine might have finished in your life. Come as you are, as broken as you are, as weak as you are, as imperfect as you are, as poor as you are. This is what we bring to God in the Eucharist. Because every time we celebrate the Eucharist, it means we are entering into a marriage over and over with the Lord. And we come to God with whatever we have. With our offerings, with our 10 naira, with our 1,000 naira, with our 50 naira, with our 20 naira, even the ones that are torn, we bring everything to God. Because this is what in honesty we have. And what does God do? He turned them into his body, into his blood. We give him ordinary bread. We give him ordinary wine. And he changed them into his body, into his blood, and gave back to us to fill us, to give us peace, to give us fulfillment. You cannot enter the church and go home empty. You cannot go home dry. You cannot go home the way you came. Every Eucharist is an encounter. That is what the church is telling us today. We are in this marriage feast today to encounter the Lord so that he will fill our empty gallons. Empty gallons of bitterness, of anxiety, of difficulties and challenges. No matter what, he has married you, he's your God, and he will not keep silent over your life. And he said, I will beautify you, and you shall be called my delight. You shall be called my delight, the beauty of God. And that is why Pope Francis says that every Christian should exhibit joy. Look at what he has given us to celebrate this year. Hope. Even when the world is dying of despair, even when the world has no hope, many marriages are collapsing, many businesses are collapsing, individuals are committing suicide and so on. Pope is saying, that is not the way. Jesus is the way. Go to him, and he will turn your sorrow into joy. And that is why the psalm today says, tell among all the peoples the wonders of the Lord. That is why I am standing here on this pulpit this morning, brothers and sisters, to tell you that God still loves you, that God has not abandoned you, that God is not keeping silent over your situation, that you should trust God again, even when your world is saying there is no hope in God, there is no hope in religion, because that's empty 6 gallons or jars of the Jews represent their empty rituals. But Jesus came to fulfill our religion, our hope, our trust in God. Tell among all the peoples. And I invite you, my dear friends, come and see goodness of the Lord. Come and see goodness of the Lord. Come and see goodness of the Lord. Come and see. Bialele mama, bialele mama, bialele mama, bialele. Come and see goodness of, come and see goodness of, come and see goodness of the Lord. Come and see. Are you suffering? Come and see. Are you looking for children? Come and see. Are you empty? Come and see goodness. Come and see. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, Paul in second reading is saying, you have been blessed. You have been gifted. You have been filled. Fill others. You have been lifted by the Lord. Lift others. Use your gift, your talent to serve others. The spirit is called charisma, which means the gift to be shared, to be used to lift others. This is a new year, 2025. You have been coming to church just as a dormant Catholic and Christian. You did not belong to any society. You do not belong to any group. This is an opportunity. Paul is saying, you have received the gift. Use them for others. You can imagine if Jesus had changed the water into wine and they did not distribute it to people, it would be useless. God has filled you, and God is still filling you with new wine of talents and gifts. Use it in the choir, in the church warden. Join CMO, CWO, Sion, YCW, CCM. Join lector, join altar servers. Join the protocol. I don't know what gift God has given to you. My dear friends, this year, do not sit on your gift. St. Paul is inviting us today in the first reading. There are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of service. Gifts, they are ministry, meaning servants or service. Use your gift to serve the Lord. So that at the end, when God asks you, have you used your gift, your talent? You can say, yes, I have used them. May God help us. Amen. May we stand to profess our faith. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, of heaven and earth,